So, with professional behavior and communication, you want to look at email. So, for your email, this is just a reminder. Most everybody does really well, I think, with professional behavior and communication. We're all professionals in that way. But there's some things just to remember. So, your email should be school related. Think about your audience. Who are you writing to? Students, other staff members, parents? And then think about with whom you are communicating and ensure the communication matches the audience. So, if you're talking to a student in email, talk to them like they're a student. If you're talking to a staff member, talk to the other staff member like they're a staff member, and the same with a parent. Okay, emails should not be overly friendly. It should just be, pretty black and white because that's what email is. Use professional language. It should be more like a letter, less like a conversation. And then capitalize and punctuate appropriately in emails. Don't send mass emails. And then this is important. This is also in the presentation that you'll see or that you've seen in Target Solutions. But I want to take a minute and talk about it here. And this is, you should always be aware of potential Freedom of Access Information Act requests. And when you're writing in an email, anything you write and send in an email becomes a student record, which means if we get a Freedom of Access request or an FOAA request on Johnny Student, and you've written something about Johnny Student, like, I don't know, something unprofessional perhaps, or, maybe you were just frustrated, so you wrote something out of frustration that you probably shouldn't have written in an email. If the lawyers come and ask for that, all stuff related to Johnny Student in emails, that goes to them, and your name's attached to it. So this is really like a public service announcement for you to please pay attention to what you are writing in your emails. If it is something that could potentially get you in trouble, either because it's a touchy topic or because it's not something you'd want to see in court, then that's something you're going to want to have a conversation with your administrator about. Okay, so I would just really urge you to think when you're writing an email, know that it's going to be a student record, know that it could be subject to the Freedom of Information Act, which is a request of the school by an outside party to turn over records of students or a staff member. And basically, what constitutes a student record? Anything that concerns the student, which has been communicated to someone else. An official file, handwritten or typed notes, email, those are all examples. So email is a student record. We're obligated to turn all of those records over. Records with names in them or of a more confidential nature may be redacted, or maybe consist of a consult with legal counsel. So we have to turn stuff over even if we don't want to, even if it's embarrassing, inaccurate, or otherwise something we really wish hadn't appeared in writing. So this is just my reminder to you guys. You're so good with kids. You do such a good job supporting kids. Please don't let something in an email that you've written get you in trouble, because of some sort of a Freedom of Access request, and then you're finding yourself in a place that you just wish you wouldn't be. And I want to encourage you to reach out for support. If you're finding you are frustrated with a student or, another staff member or whatever, reach out to your administrator, see if you can get some resolution, so that, you aren't writing unprofessional things. All right, and then let's see. Social media. Again, limit personal social media during school hours. Outside of school hours, we don't want you to use your school device as your primary means of accessing social media. Incidental is okay, right? And then I just want to mention, I have to speak to Facebook briefly here. If you are speaking on Facebook, if you are commenting on Facebook, you are speaking generally as a school representative if you are weighing in on a school matter on Facebook. Okay, and there have been a lot of school matters to weigh in on these past few months. And it's when you're speaking on a school matter. If you're just having a conversation on Facebook with, Susie Q neighbor or whatever, that's not that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about there is we're talking about, I don't know, school sports, or we're talking about COVID, or we're talking about something in the community that the community is getting hot on. If you are weighing in on that from the school's perspective, you're speaking as a school representative. Officially or not, that is the capacity with which people will read your comments. So, in an attempt to help, you might not actually be helping. And I want to ask you, please do not speak as a school representative on Facebook unless you've been directed by the superintendent to do so, which may happen. Additionally, please don't make public comments on social media at school. And the reason for this is not to restrict your rights, your freedom of speech rights. The reason of this is the public perception is that you have time to be on Facebook all day. This is not a good perception to have or maintain, especially if budget times will become potentially tough. All right? So that wraps up that portion. The next portion, we're going to look at technology proficiency.